Really? Good. Well, the dog boats go outside. And I can see them now. They're outside.
Right, I'm back. I see my chat doesn't want to work. I type in it, but it doesn't. I can't find a send. It's weird. Anyway, I made you. Keep muting myself. Okay, I've made you co-host.
Yeah, Michael, I'm a co-host already.
Yeah.
And the session
I'm not sure. My chat, I sent a message. Well, I have a message typed in chat, but it won't give me the option to send. And maybe let me just try something else.
when you messaged last time, I was able to see.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
it's
Yeah, I had it not on. It had to be on full screen to do that. That's interesting. Okay, but let's leave it on full screen. That's fine. Use gallery. And we've got it recording, so that's fine. It's just paused. So if I forget to unpause it, Nancy, then unpause the recording, won't you just
yeah.
click? Okay.
Not to worry, I will do that.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So how are you doing at Get Set Up?
Doing great. Everything is fine and awesome.
Okay, that's great. Other than this morning, I don't think you've ever been in my class. Are you new at Get Set Up?
No, I have been working since March end in Get Set Up.
Okay, but you've never been in my class, or have you?
No, I was once as a observer, but not yet. This is our second session together.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's great. But you've been in my wife's class, Sue.
Yeah, so I used to be in her class. I have attended her many classes.
Okay. Yeah, this class, it's a series of 5 classes. So,
Yeah, I saw it online.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a bit difficult if people haven't been through class 1, 2, 3, okay. Class 4 is not going to mean too much to them.
yeah,
But I've had basically, I think, had 5 people, 2 people that have interacted, 3 have been totally dormant, but since class 1. So we've got at least 2 that hopefully are going to arrive today. I'm sure they will, and take the process right through. But if new people come in today, it's not going to make too much sense to them. But I'll try and bring them up to scratch as best I can.
I guess your previous one is also lined in the Get Set Up schedule.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was taking out the classes for references next session. They were lined 1, 2, 5, and
Yeah,
4.
the 5th one, maybe you want to put that link up in the chat today.
I will definitely get it when there is like 1 week of
Okay.
learners.
Yeah, no, that would be great. Then that's the 5th one, and then on Monday we start with 1 again. Okay.
Yeah, it's the first.
Yeah, at 9 o'clock the same time. Yeah.
So it's 9 o'clock there.
Sorry, say again.
Sorry, it's 9 o'clock there.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And most of our learners at the moment will be 12 hours before. So, I mean, after. So, about 12 p.m. Yeah. Where do you live?
India.
Okay, so what's your time there now?
6:30 a.m.
6:30. Okay. Okay. Well. Hello. You don't look as tired as last night. But welcome back in class.
I don't think I got to bed until almost 1 last night. I was so excited after the class.
That's great. Not good for your sleep, though. So yeah, I was. We've got Nancy. You wouldn't have met her in my class. The Get Set Up support, and she's you know about the support people and what they do, and you've been in many classes, so she's going to also put up. The 5th class is tomorrow, same time, and she'll put up the link to that as well. So. But you know how to get in now. You're there.
Yeah, I took another class today by Kevin, how to pitch your big idea. And there might have been 5 others in the class. And I told them all about that you're going to do this next week, 5 of them next week.
Okay. Yes.
Look for it. And he said he knows you and he recommended you too. What a good guide you are.
That's great. Yeah. We had a long chat on, I think on Monday morning or Tuesday morning. No, Monday. Yeah. Anyway, earlier this week, and the first time I'd met him, but we chatted for an hour, to talk, because he does a lot of business classes, you see, and I've never attended his, so I don't really know what his style is like, and what, which was the one you said you went to this morning?
How to pitch your big idea.
How to pitch your big idea. Okay, well, that would be very suitable for you. Did you pick up some hints?
Yeah, well, he of course talked about the elevator pitch and then 10-minute pitch. But we had time to practice an elevator pitch, but we didn't have time for the 10-minute pitch. So I'm going to try to do his class again. And there was a gentleman there that was a city council member. And so in part of my pitch, I said, I'm a tiny house enthusiast. In my early stages of research, I'm trying to form an ad hoc committee of other individuals to approach zoning commissions and city council, like that gentleman that was there, in order to get approval for a senior tiny house community in my county. It's called, in Louisiana they call them parishes. This is a count, we call them counties. Everywhere else in the United States, I don't know what you call them in Australia, but we call the small, the states are divided into counties.
Yeah. We don't really, they are divided up. Yeah, I think they also, loosely use the word county because they're states. And remember, I'm not actually Australian. And in South Africa, where I originally came from, you get provinces. Okay, we call them provinces, and then areas within the provinces. So. Yeah, they probably do call them states here too. I'm not sure. Yeah, because I know I'm in Wandi, which is part of Western Australia. But Wandi is like a suburb of Kwinana, which is Kwinana. And I wonder what Kwinana is. Yeah, so I'm not sure. Yeah. Get to find out these things by accident when you need to. Yeah. Anyway, I think what we'll do, I'm not sure where Teresa is yet, and the others that come in and don't talk, they usually come in 5 or 10 minutes later. So we'll see. But I hope Teresa does come in. We'll see. So, but if not, let's move forward now. And this is a very different lesson. I'm just going to share my screen, okay? You know, as you know, because you saw the title of it, you know, one of the problems with taking a purpose out into the world and an idea or a business, and it's not Teresa, okay. Anyway, welcome, Trudy. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Trudy. Welcome to the 4th class in this 5-class series. You haven't been part of my other 3 classes, have you? Trudy? Hello.
No, I haven't. Do I need the other 3 before I take this one?
Absolutely not. Relax. Just come and enjoy it. There will definitely be a lot that I hope both you and Lil will be able to pick up. Lil has been from class 1, and so she might be able to contribute as well. You know, basically what we did, Trudy, is that we started off with class 1, where we developed our inherent purpose and an idea as part of the process, a part of 7 steps in class 1. And then we moved on into class 2, how to get started into this whole process. And we brought speech, you know, down to 10 minutes, and we brought a single sentence, which Lil likes to call the elevator pitch. I've got my own name for it, but it is an elevator pitch. And then we moved on into class 3, the last class, yesterday's class, where we chose tools to use in the process of whatever we're doing, whatever our ideas, and then how to move forward. So we sort of got to that, and we're going to do the whole process next week as well, same time now, starting on Monday, and all 5. So that's where we're at the moment. So may I ask, Trudy, do you have a sort of idea or a purpose in life for the next number of years? Are you retired? Are you a senior?
Yes, I am, but I'm not retired.
Okay. So you're in a job at the moment. That's great.
Yes.
All right. Super. May I ask what sort of category of work it is?
Education.
Okay. With children or adults?
Children.
Okay. Yeah. My wife was 45 years a teacher with children, and now she's in with Get Set Up and doing some classes that I think she's upgraded from the children type classes, arts and crafts and things, and now teaching seniors. So you must watch out for her classes as well. I think, Lil, you've been in some of her classes, haven't you? Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, it's Sue Murray. You look for her classes if you're into crafts and teaching adults things to do with their hands and to get rid of boredom and stuff like that. So, oh, hello, Teresa.
Sorry, I had such a problem getting on.
Oh no, what was your problem? Because we've got Nancy here now that can take what it is and make sure that it doesn't happen again. Tell us what your problem was quickly.
It was like I didn't get the message about the class. Like usually get the message an hour before, and then you could get on through that.
Right.
I had to go where you schedule the classes, and I was able to get in through that.
Okay. Nancy, did you hear that? Maybe that needs to be looked into, and maybe somebody get back to Teresa and let her know why.
Yeah, because you usually message like 1 hour before.
Okay.
Did you check your spam message? Sometimes it happens.
I checked the
Okay.
spam. I checked it all.
Okay, I'll be talking to a technical team so that they can help you in further.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Teresa, and thanks for helping me, Nancy. All right.
I'm glad, like I tried to do it that way. I didn't know if I would be able to, but I was like at my wit's end. What can I do? It's like
Yes, I was telling Nell when she came in, where's Teresa?
Because before that, I couldn't get on my laptop. They kept saying it's not my password. I said, well, let me just use my phone. And then I couldn't get in, find the link for the class. It was like, oh gosh. Okay, but I'm here now.
You're here, and that's the most important thing. Those things are so frustrating, and we all experience them. You know, we want to thump, then they want a new password. Anyway,
Sure.
I'm glad you are here, and you haven't missed anything. I was just telling Trudy, you know, what happened in class 1, 2, and 3, and because this is her first class in coming into. Okay, so right. For Trudy's sake only, I guess, my name is Michael Plumstead, and I live in Perth, Western Australia. And as I mentioned earlier, just gone 9 a.m. in the morning, much more civilized hour than yesterday. And so, yeah, I'm an author and researcher, business owner, trainer, mentor of people in business. And I love gardening, microgreening, all those sort of nice things. In my opinion, they're nice things. Okay, so today we're going to move through class 4, or it could also be called maybe stage 4 in our moving forward. And you know, what happens when you start out on trying to fulfill your purpose and the idea you have, and gathering all sorts of information, is that you lose momentum, you lose a bit of enthusiasm, and if not now, you know, sometime in the future you might find yourself. So I wanted to address that in this class today, and help you, you know, move forward in a consistent, steady direction, because success just takes time, and we'll talk about that, because I'm going to talk a lot today about success stories from people who are over 80 years old. Okay, so you know, they've been or are where we are now at this stage, and so to start the ball rolling, I'm going to start with, okay, Nancy, will you deal with that? There's something, somebody sent a message. Anyway, Professor Lynn Slater. Now, any of the people that I talk about in this class, you're welcome to Google, find them on Instagram. I think all of them, if I recall, are on Instagram. And so they all have a story to tell. And there's no better way than being motivated than listening to somebody else who's right there in your sort of position. It's not like a youngster coming out, it's somebody who's in retirement and now moving forward with, and a lot of them discovering, finally, they're going on a purpose and then discovering a different how to do. So let's talk about a little bit about Professor Lynn Slater. Obviously, she was at a university and she was now teaching people in quite big classes. And then she always had this liking for fashion, okay? And so she started a fashion blog. So she started this whole process that we've been talking about in the last few classes. You know, where do we start? And one of the places is to start blogging, start, you know, writing articles and posting them, and so on. And she started this 5 years ago. She did that. She started blogging, and then from the blogging, she formed a name. Okay, and then the name resulted from exactly what happened to her. She called herself Accidental Icon. Okay, so you can Google Accidental Icon and you would see a whole lot. On Instagram, she has over 275,000 followers at the moment. Okay, and you know, I checked up on that yesterday. For her, she started with her passion. Her fashion was her passion. That was her project, and she started. And she tells you Okay, it had nothing to do with money. Okay, it had nothing to do with money. She loved the fashion, and it took her about 3 years to get to about 100,000 followers, because it just seemed to, it went well. I mean, that's quite quick. But she didn't talk to anybody or about anything else other than fashion, nothing more than that. Okay, so she learned from, in her own words, from experimenting and having failures. And she said, I stuck to what was in my heart. Okay, and she calls it me being me. And so I think that is such a big message for all of us. Okay, and she said she didn't have any business plans. Well, what do you want a business plan for? Jesus just wanted to write about fashion and move and connect with other people about fashion. And so I urge you now, as we go into this class, I'm going to show certain tips, and I won't always refer them to her or one of the others I'm mentioning. I'll just mention them as tips and ideas that have been used by Professor Lynn Slater, but also by 3 more that I'm going to show you at the end as well. And I've put it into some sort of logic, and quite honestly, a lot of them just fall into what came naturally in the first 3 classes from my own personal experience. So that was interesting to discover that was the case when I was researching all these. So now, yes,
Michael, I was just, what is her name? Accidental Icon?
Yes, Accidental Icon.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll probably put it in the notes then if you want me to. But yeah, make a note or do a screenshot of what comes up, and or don't forget that this is being recorded, so you can also ask for a recording, and then you'll get all the screens. You get all the slides in the recording and everything that we've said in between as well. So yeah. But that was her name, Accidental, because she said, it was, accidentally that it all happened. Okay, she didn't set out to go and, make a business out of it, or that she wanted to just meet and mix with people about fashion and her particular aspect and age of fashion as well. So, all right. So that was Professor Lynn Slater, and I'm going to be using a lot of her. But to start the ball rolling, we've had this now in all our previous slides. The purpose of life is a life with purpose, and that's why we're here. That's why we are sitting, taking it in, and if you get excited, you must know how excited I get when I'm researching and putting this down and trying to make it just the raw bones, rather than sort of putting too much detail and too much flesh on it. Okay. Now, I take you back to that thought, and I've done this, I know, in class 2 and 3 as well. I take you back to class 1, and I want you, as part of maintaining the momentum, which this class is about, have that why. You want to know that why all the time. Okay. So, and it's interesting that Lynn Slater keeps talking about why she started. And she keeps telling it was never about the money. Okay. And she wanted to talk about fashion for ordinary people. Okay. That's a professor that out of university teaching whatever she taught. And that was her purpose. Her purpose, she wanted to talk about fashion for ordinary people. Now, there it is. Now, we took a whole class to finally get ourselves to a purpose, but that was her purpose. She knew out front that was her purpose. And as I said before, she never started formalizing it and creating. She just started, okay, blogging. That's all she did. So, remember, take your why and somehow put it in your working environment somewhere. I know I've asked you to do that before, but put it in there and see, and see it on a daily basis. Because like me, I whenever my desk is positioned so I can see my rose garden out of my left window and the rest of my garden out of the right. and that inspires me when I sort of just stare at the garden unconsciously, really, and I get those aha moments which you've got. So I want to ask you the question, and I'd like to hear the answer. It's on your screen now at the bottom. Is your purpose still strong with you that you started from class 1? Lil?
Yeah, you lit a fire under me when I first.
Hey, we've got some background noise. Not sure. Okay. Or I'll try again. Sorry.
I said you have lit a fire under me when I first got back. When I first got to Jacksonville in the end of January, I was enthusiastic about the tiny house community, and I tried to do what I could do by myself, and then I started losing my enthusiasm, and I thought, well, I'll just get a tiny house for myself. I'll worry about the community later. But taking this class has reignited me.
Correct. Okay. So it's there. As we sit today, it's there. Okay, that's great. And Teresa, is yours still as strong as ever?
Yes, even stronger.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, that's super. All right. I just wanted to check in with you because that's so encouraging. And we're going to tomorrow's class, we're going to have just a general discussion. There'll be a couple of other surprises, but there'll be a discussion about where you're at the moment, and any questions about, your detail, your purpose. Okay. So as part of this class, you need to, in fact, maybe a good place to start would say, in previous classes, we came to realize, although there was one purpose and one idea, that there were many hows. Remember, I say there are many hows at the end of class 1 and that's in class 2 as well. There are many hows. And if things are ever shaky, you need to go back and look at the hows. Okay, maybe the platform is not suitable for your idea of communication. That could be. Maybe the social media app you selected at your first choice was not met, hasn't met your expectations. Okay. And maybe even going right back to the broad category or medium you chose is not working out. Maybe you chose to do it through teaching and online teaching, and maybe that wasn't the right thing. Maybe one needs to relook at that and see, maybe one goes through blogging or something like that. Okay. So if you ever get into that sort of situation where then go back to the drawing board and go back to your previous notes of your classes. Okay. If I was in your position, I would actually ask for a recording of every class, download it, and then store it. Okay. Because it only stays up on Get Set Up for a short time. I'm not sure what the time is. Nancy, do you know how long a recording stays on Get Set Up? No.
I'm sorry, I don't have any idea.
Okay.
But I will ask any team member.
That'll be interesting to know. I'd be interested in knowing too, because then I can advise my attendees. But I think it's probably 7 days that it stays up, and then maybe it goes into an archive, and maybe it stays in the archive for another 30 days or something like that. Okay, that's how usually these things happen. But I'm not sure how it does. Yeah. So
we can request from day 1 of your class.
Yeah, you can still today, because it's
Okay.
yeah, and ask them to send you all the classes. And I think to me that makes sense. And you don't have to take copious notes, and you just take notes that are the aha things that you want, or something that inspire you, and then you can always go back and you can remember having been in the class. Was it at the middle of the class, at the end of the class? Because you don't want to listen through an hour and then find it 5 minutes before the end. So you'll be able to recall because they're just straight recordings. They're not indexed at all. So the how can always change. And so you understand that, because there's never a time in actual fact of failure. Okay. It's because you're not like putting in money and you've lost all the money, now you've gone bankrupt. I've been there, many when I was a youngster, opening my own business. And but that doesn't come into this, building up towards your purpose and focusing and bringing people in and getting follow-ins and things like that. So the how can always change. Decide and then replan your activities if it's necessary. Okay, this is just now for warning, because neither of you that are interacting with me in this class are having a problem. Okay, at the moment. Otherwise, I think you would have said so. So the next aspect is that you need to, in order to keep the momentum going, and it's not like part of the beginning that we said, now you must do this first, or okay, you need to create a schedule to help you go back to the drawing board. So this is just part of the process that you can do at some point, and you will know when the time is right, because what I'm going to just go through quite quickly is, you create. I'm not a goal setting person, but you need to have a simple goal that is sort of specific, it's attainable, it's measurable, but you mustn't devote your life to goals, okay? In my opinion, part of the process is you must know where you're going, okay? But then, you must allow that subconscious to take you into another aha moment that is still sitting with your purpose, still sitting with the idea, but is suggesting something that's not heading towards that specific goal. Allow that to happen, okay? And you'll become quite excited about that when that happens, and it will happen, I promise you. It's whether you recognize it or not is the thing. So yeah, to start the process of specific, okay, is your goal clear and defined, and does it prioritize all your work? So when you're making a goal, okay, you need to know where you're going. You need to set a direction, okay, and that's for your conscious mind. Your conscious mind needs that, and you need to feel good, and you need to feel organized, okay, and then comes the measurable. How do you know you have succeeded, for example? Okay, now perhaps it's historically back and so on, we would talk about monetary goals or the amount of sales, but no, it's not about that anymore for in this work in the purpose. Maybe it's how many posts you've done over the past 30 days per day. Okay, it might be how many follows have you encouraged through your posts, and how many people are you following, and those sort of things which are measurable. They're easy. And if you've set a goal of saying that I want to post once a day for 6 days a week, now you go back and measure that. Hey, I did that. Okay, so that's I'm on the road to success because you're heading forward, you are moving forward. Okay, so when achievable, I've written there on the screen there, create a schedule of tasks now to cover those essentials. Now, again, these must be simple tasks, okay? Don't try and be brave and cover everything. Cover the essential steps in an easily achievable time, okay? And it must be, even if you exaggerate and do less and then find yourself doing more, you'll feel good, and you will, because you can do it in that time. Now you're a little bit ahead of time. That's great. Doesn't matter. But you don't want to fall behind. Okay. So make sure when you set out these sort of things to aim at, that they are easily and simply achievable, and then stick to it. Stick to it. Stick to it. You made it simple to achieve. Now achieve it. Okay, and now you can be strong on yourself and decide. Okay, now relevant. Always have your brand purpose up in front of you. Okay, put it somewhere. I know I've said this in other classes, and I'm probably going to say to that if I did another 10 classes. Okay, it's part of your environment. Your purpose is part of your environment. It's part of your excitement. It's a part of your energy. And so, yes, you're thinking, okay, here I am. Now, if I look here, maybe there's my purpose on the wall. Maybe I'm an artist and I drew it in a way that maybe, as I said in the last class, maybe a sort of a sketch of these little houses clustered together and something. And you look at them and they motivate you, and they look at them and motivate you. And so it must be relevant. So all your goals and your paths and your tasks must be relevant towards that purpose. Okay. And I can't say this enough, because from my own personal experience over the years, I've always been more ambitious and keen when I set out things and then I was not always doing things simply. I was trying to, impress myself by, let's get all these things in, and then you don't, okay? Or you fall ill, or something happens. And so generally when one's working at our age now towards a new purpose, you want to devote, if we take statistically, which I had a look, and statistically, it's about 3 hours a day, okay? Not more. Usually, I'm not saying average 3 hours, I'm saying about 3 hours, okay? And some people have been highly successful with less time than that as well. So don't sit there thinking you've got to work, 12 hours a day or 8 hours a day, because then now you're just back to, your career that you were in before, and that's not the purpose of the purpose. Okay? So be aware that give yourself plenty of time in your schedule. Okay, and then evaluate by, are you on track? Now you've set up easy, attainable tasks. Now you can are you on track? You're now sitting in the afternoon and you've done your work for the day, and you're drinking a cup of tea or coffee or any liquid at that end of the day. Okay, that's fine. And you think about it. Okay, so now you can evaluate just on a daily basis. Okay, progress it. Reevaluate the how, just for sitting there, and then and the same with the review. So are you progressing? Sort of yes or no. Just every day, just casually, not a sit down formal situation. It's just over a drink when you're relaxing. And so those things you find just broadly bring you into some doable space, and it is a doable space. Okay, it's not a sort of ambition or a task or what I'm aiming to do. Okay. Okay. Again, just taking from the successful people that I found so interesting that I'm going to share with you at the end of this class. So again, I say just general things. Always remember the why you started. The why you started. And it's got nothing to do with money. For those that are newcomers like Trudy, it's got nothing to do with money at all. Okay. The why is a feeling. Okay, it's a heartfelt thing. And then sorry, I clicked too quickly there, but the second one, always celebrate small success. It's such fun. My wife and I do that. I don't know, for any particular reason, something happens, and it doesn't matter how small. Maybe we launch a new class, and that day we will celebrate. You've got to find a reason to celebrate. If you're trying to get followers and you wanted to get your first 10 followers and you get the 10, celebrate, okay? However it is, maybe it's a donut and a cup of coffee and you say, now I'm celebrating. You need to celebrate all the small successes that you achieve. Doesn't matter how small, they are successes, celebrate them, okay? And all right, so I've said this earlier, create a working environment that you love, what's around you, not only a picture or the words of your purpose and the why of the purpose, but everything else. What do you like around you? I'm a person, I like flowers, and it's nice. I am looking onto the garden, so I see a garden of flowers. So I'm in that environment where there's garden flowers, and I sometimes like flowers on my desk, and it's just where I'm at. I enjoy it. And so, what sort of environment do you love? Think about it and create that environment around there that you as you slip into your chair at your desk, if that's your environment, or whether you sit in a lounge chair to do your work, wherever it is, create that environment. And don't think it's trivial. It becomes an important issue. Okay. And then watch motivational type videos. There are just millions of those in every conceivable place. You can go to YouTube or wherever you go to, you can find those, and it's worth it. Maybe you latch on to one of the famous ones and you enjoy listening to them, and there are some very famous ones that are out there talking about that these sort of things. Then there comes a time where watching one just is what you need while you are maybe having a meal or having a drink. Okay, so then the other thing that your attention mustn't be totally focused just on your business. Well, it can't be if you're only going to work 3 hours. Okay, so but you need to also focus on your daily activities. Attend a daily class that appeals to you. And I don't mean one of my business classes, okay? Something different. Something's away from your purpose. Maybe it's an exercise class. Maybe it's a yoga class. Maybe it's a movement class. Maybe it's just talking about the wonders of space or sort of a Star Trek episode. But whatever it is, spend that half hour to an hour instead of just doing something else that appeals to you. Okay, and different things will appeal at different times. I had things when I was wanting to ferment vegetables just as a health thing, and so I used to listen on probably a few weeks on people talking about fermented vegetables. And then I never got around to ferment any vegetables. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. Attend some sort of class on a regular daily basis. And then, review your day. Good or bad? It was a good day today. I'll have a sip to that. And it was a bad day. I'll have a sip to that. And so you're not taking yourself seriously. Okay. And that's fine. Okay, because this is a whole new ball game. This is a new career. This is a new 30 years. Okay, you don't have hectic type of responsibilities that you had in the first 50 years of your working life. Okay, so let's look at some practical tips. Okay, just as it comes, okay. Cultivate a self-care routine that energizes and nourishes you. Now, I think this probably comes more easily for women, okay, because you've got your own self-care. You look after your skin, and you put makeup on and stuff like that. Men, it's a little bit different. There needs to be a self-care routine. You need to care about yourself. Okay? And that will really make you feel good. So, we do things like every day we shave. Or, you want to grow a beard, then I guess every day you would trim your beard. And so you would care for yourself, and you'd go for walks, and anything that is a self-care routine. So self-care is an important part of moving forward now as we move forward. And it's not something to impress other people, okay? At this stage of our life, we don't do anything to impress other people, okay? We do things for other people, definitely, primary, okay? So other people can benefit, but we don't do things for other people in order to make them say, good things about our parents or whatever. And it sort of tagged onto the previous slide, which was looking a lot at Professor Lynn Slater's. Here, some of the other people are saying, create simple goals for growing your business. And the emphasis was your way, your way. And that's, it's not easy to really understand it. The words are easy to understand, but the concept of doing it your way, if you're sort of a rough and ready type person, then do your goals and your tasks and everything, your postings, sort of in a rough and ready way. Or if you're particularly, like that or that or that, but then that's fine. Then go that route and move that way. But do things your way. I love that, and I used to love it all through my life. That song of Frank Sinatra, I did it my way. And what a beautiful song. And it's worth just going to go into YouTube and put it in and listen to it. Okay. I just love it. I never get tired of I did it my way. And various people, Matt Monroe also sang it, I think. And so, of all the steps and tasks you're going to put there, find the doable action steps. All the successful old people, shall I call them, senior people, I don't have a problem with the word old, but other people might. But, they all say, make your steps doable when you're planning them. If you start things and then don't finish, you won't see results, but that demotivates you too, okay? And it used to be one of my weaknesses. I would start something. I was a great starter, even if you take the whole big picture, for example, I would start a business, and really every business I started, and I started lots of businesses, but they were mostly physical business, outside doing physical things. And when they were successful, maybe after 3 years or so on, I would start losing interest, okay? Now, in hindsight, if I was clever, I should have sold them then and got on and started anew, because I'm a starter, okay? But I've changed over the years now, and I now have that consistency, and I don't get distracted as easily, maybe just the maturity that age brings. Now, the other thing is, we all need support, okay? We all need support. So please, don't think that this is something that you got to do alone, okay? Every human being needs support, whether it comes from, your spouse who cheers you on and encourages you and celebrates those successes, or whether it's a child or a grandchild, or the next door neighbor who's a friend. It doesn't matter. You need support. You need somebody there who's your cheerleader, who's there to, and a sounding board too. You need people, and you can often use your followers as sounding boards too. So now I'm going to talk about some success stories. But before I do, I need to stop and see if you have any burning questions.
No,
Okay.
I'm saving for the end, some questions for the end.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I so love researching the success stories. I love success stories, and also, growing up, I used to buy books on success stories, and I had people that I used to follow, and I still remember them so plainly. When I had to move continents, then I had to give all those books away, really. But they are prominent in my mind, and how people would start in the basement with nothing, and then they now own airlines, and but anyway.
What would make you start off, you personally, and then you would give up after you got to start going? Was it boredom? It wasn't like enough for you anymore?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, Teresa. I know what it was, and I think you hit the nail on the head. It was successful, okay, and somehow, but I only realized this when I got much older. Like, I didn't realize it at the time, and that was, I need a challenge. I have to have a challenge, okay. I love a challenge. I enjoy overcoming the challenge, and I'm quite happy to fail and then try again, and so forth. But and that was the reason. I would have staff, they would be running, I would appoint a manager, and they would be running it. And now, I needed to now perhaps move up a step and do something in addition. Okay. But it was that I no longer jumped out of bed with excitement in the morning. And that's what's we've got to maintain that aspect. Yeah. So yes, that was the reason. And we must all be, I don't suppose all, I say all because it's been my experience, but certainly a lot of people talk about it in their success stories. They sort of reach a level of where they level out, and there are now techniques, and that we're coming to some of them now, but more based towards the right at the beginning, as opposed to 3 or 4 years time. Okay. So,
thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you for asking that. Yeah. All right. So let's move on, and I just look at this lady. Okay. On the extreme left, can you see the picture of her? Is it coming up all right? You've got to see it. Okay. Helen Winkle. And finally, like now, her, and a few years ago, she came up with, and I'll show you this, she has her tagline, or her, you can't really call this an elevator pitch, because this is just a one sentence. Okay. So she says, stealing your man since 1928. Okay. And you can see just look at her, and you can have all sorts of things. She's 85 years old, still going strong as far as I know, and certainly was a year ago when I read up about her, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and I started following her on Instagram. And she has over 3 million followers. Let me just tell you something about her, because
that's what I was going to ask. Could you tell us something about her? Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Okay, definitely. Yeah, she's now, as of today, okay, she's now 92 years old. No, that's not right. I don't know where I got that from. She's 85 now, and anyway, I'm not sure where that point came in from. But anyway, she was a Southerner, as I think you would call it in United States of America, whatever that means. And before rising to fame, she led a pretty normal life in Waco, Kennedy. She had a small 6-acre farm, took care of her great grandkids, kept her garden nice, and went to church every Sunday. Then one day, her granddaughter, snapped a picture of Helen in a pair of cut-off shorts and a tie-dye t-shirt. Okay, and with some help from the same great-granddaughter, she set up her Instagram account on which she posted the picture, "I'm a bad bitch, always been a rebel." That was what she posted, and with that picture of her in the shorts and so on. Okay. And then Helen, who now uses the name Baddie Winkle, okay, and that's what you'll find her on Instagram, says Baddie Winkle's first post from, the first time, that first post that I'm just telling you about now, just slowly the numbers started growing and following her. Okay, she was appealing, she was resonating with certain people, and so her following grew over time. And then Baddie Winkle took social media by storm with her bright, eccentric, and electric outfits, and also her couldn't care less attitude. While her sense of style might not be everyone's cup of tea, we can surely all agree that on one thing, the confidence of this woman is inspiring. Okay? And I just love the stealing your man since 1928 has been the basis. And she then started a beauty collection at Sephora's. Now, I'm not familiar with Sephora's, but I guess you people here in North America might be. I don't know. But anyway, and she has all these followers on Instagram. And that is Helen. That's her background, and it all sort of happened by mistake. It all happened by a photograph taken by her daughter, a granddaughter, great granddaughters, and so and are starting. Like many of us now, we're at that point of starting. Okay, and that's where she started. But she was true to herself. She wasn't going to impress other people by being something else. She wasn't going to use good language, just because other people like it. It's who she is. She uses that sort of language, okay? And you can call her what you like, but she has a following, okay? And she's been highly. And so now she's an influencer. Remember I spoke about the word influencer in previous classes? So she is now an influencer. And you can get onto her back if you have something that her readers might want to buy, okay, for argument's sake. So there are different ways of doing that. Anyway, I mean, the influencers are on all social media platforms, not just Instagram. Okay, then we look at George Takai, I guess you'd pronounce his name. Now you might recognize him because I did, even at this age, from Star Trek. Okay, remember Mr. Sulu? This is Mr. Sulu. He is now 85 years old, and but so he had a different background altogether to Helen. And he's now a fully fledged social media influencer with more than 10 million fans on Facebook. That's a lot, big number. 2 million followers on Twitter, and nearly 1 million on Instagram. Okay, so Takai uses his reach to both further causes like gay rights and the Muslim registry, as well as run audience campaigns for publishers like Mick. In fact, his social accounts aren't a one-man show. He has social influencers, a social influencer shop called The Social Edge, managing and striking deals. That in previous classes. Okay, you can use influencers. He's an influencer, but with a difference, and maybe his posts are different again. Let me just carry on reading, and I'll tell you what we've got here. Takai's feeds are filled with science fiction jokes and heartfelt posts on. He talks clearly about his passion, and that's his passion. Okay, that's his idea. That's what he wants to do. Okay, and he didn't start out to do it to make money. He was already a wealthy person. Okay, from all his Star Trek shows appearances, shall I say, but he had a purpose. He had a mission, and that's what it was. And he talks about, he says that social media is a tool for him to reach people beyond his science fiction geeks. His articles and blogs he has started reflect his political views or are compatible with causes that he advocates. That's his purpose, okay? And he sticks in his purpose. That's what gets him up in the morning. That's what makes him going so well now, okay? And he does get a bit tired of people referring back to Star Trek and so on, because this is what his purpose is now. But he accepts that it is part of his history. And he says here, finally, my Facebook has never been a business for me. I use social media mainly to talk about issues that I am passionate about. My purpose is to make people aware of what I want them to be aware of. Okay, and we spoke about it. So that was, I still want to call him by his original name, you know, Sulu. But anyway, that is George. And now, time doesn't allow us to go too much further, but I want to talk briefly about Iris here. She is now 99 years old and still going strong with her passion and her desires on social media. And I'll read a little bit about her. At 99 years old, Ethel, I'm not sure how you pronounce her name, by the way, so if I'm doing it wrong, I apologize to her. Ethel is the most senior influencer on my list. In other words, she's the oldest on my list, okay? But having topped 1 million followers, she's still showing no signs of letting up. In addition to her long career as an interior designer, she is a published author, glassware company, Nude Glass, and window covering business, Hunter Douglas. She grew up in Queens, New York. To entertain Apple, her grandmother let her play with fabric scraps, which she had in large quantities because her 4 daughters often sewed for charity. So she would, as a child, open up one bag and then another, and what she saw made her eyes pop out. A gigantic bunch of little fabric remnants in all sorts of colors and patterns. And there were scraps of all kinds, she says, and all sizes. And that was like the best thing that could ever happen to her, is for her to open these little scraps. Because she says she was obsessed with texture and color, and she spent her whole evenings entertaining herself this way. She says, looking back, it's very clear, playing this way honed my eye and gave her a deep interest in fabric. Today, Apple is famous for her electric style. She pairs layers of bright colors and oversized glasses and jewelry together with such flair that she was the subject of an exhibition at the Costume Institute at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Okay, and so she comes up also with lots of tips. Some of those I've already brought up, and she really tells people, don't be obsessed with your age. Okay, she says, okay, something feeling that I'm learning class 1. Okay, that's what you're looking for. And she emphasizes, she says, I just feel things in my gut and I do them.
Hello, Michael.
Yes.
I don't know, but your voice is not clear.
Oh, my voice is not clear. Okay. Okay.
It's some internet issue.
It's going in and out.
Okay.
He'll be back in a minute. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, hello, we hear you.
I hear you.
We hear you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yes, I hear you.
I was just telling Michael earlier that I was in a group today led by Kevin, and it was called How to Pitch Your Big Idea.
Oh, that sounds good.
And I told Michael that all the people, 5 people in the class, and I told them to come to his class next week. And I'm telling you the same thing. Check out Kevin's class, How to Pitch Your Big Idea. I told everybody, Michael, that I was recommending your class to Kevin's class.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, and I'm pleased. As I said, I had a long chat to him this week. Really great guy, and it takes a whole different approach to business and so on. So you learn a lot of specific skills from him. I'm sorry about that interruption. It was actually my internet that suddenly disappeared. And I work on a desktop, so it's not like I've got a backup, but maybe I need to think about that if that's going to happen. But anyway, we are now on the hour. We were, let me just, I guess I would just have to share, but so please, you're to see why that's not what I'm doing. I want to share the slide. There we are. Okay, so I was talking about Iris, and I had actually come to the end. I mean, there's a lot more that I've researched about her, and I'm sure you don't want to learn any more. Other than she also says, don't isolate yourself. Okay.
Oops. You're frozen.
Michael, hello. Hello everyone. I guess he's facing some technical issues. Please wait for a while.
Mhm. You're muted. You're muted.
Thank you. I'm not sure if Nancy sort you out. We're at the end, and if it's happened twice now, it's going to happen again. So I need to maybe bring the class to an end. Just asking you, any questions? If we can take questions. If I go out again, Nancy, will you please just close the class? All right.
Okay.
I think we should be all right now, because I have reached the end. We've spoken about all the 3 success stories. Those are just different pictures of the people themselves, okay, how they dress and so on, and what they do and their friends. So anyway, so now it's thanks very much. Remember, tomorrow this time, same starting time, we do the final class in the series, and don't forget that you're going to get an email from me now after this class. And there is a feedback section. Please give feedback. It's very important, especially with new classes like these, to get the feedback, and just be honest, okay, on these notes. And then when you book maybe for tomorrow's class, then you'll see on computers there's a invite a friend. Please invite friends. Move out. There's so many people out there that I think would benefit from all sorts of classes that get set up often. And on the mobile, it's also at the bottom. So yeah, so you might want to host a group yourself, and I think Teresa's interested in that. We'll move forward with that. You just get hold of help setup. So thank you very much indeed. Much appreciated that you're here, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks, Lil. I appreciate that. I hope you learned something on this one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thanks. Thanks, Trudy. And
Thank you, Michael.
See you
okay.
tomorrow. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Hope to see
Bye.
you. Bye, everyone.